Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie. I hope you like my new do. Anyway, I'm back with a little video. Now, I get asked a lot, what are my favorite champs in the game? Who do I think are the best in each class? And who do I think are in the worst of each class? So this little video, they're all based on my opinion. It's what I think of who the best and who the worst are in each class. Now, like I said, this is my opinion based on my gameplay experience with the champs and all. I know some of you aren't going to agree. I know some of you are going to think I'm crazy. And hey, some of you might agree with me, but it's all based on what you think, and this one is based on what I think. So come take a walk with me, or rather stand with me, and let's go through each class and see who the best of the best and the worst of the worst are. All right, let's do this. So the first class we're gonna work on is Cosmic. Now, along with Science, this is one of the most underwhelming classes for a while. OG Thor, he ruled this class for a long time. Then Kabam nerfed him and started introducing new cosmic champs with awesome abilities like Medusa and Corvus. But there are still some losers. So who do I think is the weakest champ? It's Carnage. Just kidding. He just got buffed. It's Kamala Khan. It came down between Groot and Kamala Khan, and she won out because Kabam dropped the ball with her Furies. She really has no utility other than being poison immune, and her intended use of high damage is greatly negated by the mechanics in which is used to obtain those Furies. Now, Kabam could easily make her one of the most hard-hitting champs by shortening the time it takes to gain Furies, by holding the heavy, like Mordo, and by putting an evasion mechanism like Quake. She has the potential to hit a lot harder. Then, we can even tie the potency of her Furies to her power bar to keep her more in line with champions such as Captain Marvel and Ms. Marvel. So, now that we've covered the worst in Cosmic, who is the best? And, that actually is a tough decision to make because Kabam has released a lot of good cosmic champs like Corvus, Medusa, and Hyperion, and they have also buffed the classics like Venom and Carnage. So who do I think? Well, by a small margin, I think Medusa is the best cosmic champ. And this is why. Because she can be used in pretty much any aspect of the game. She really doesn't need any special masteries to be useful, and she's got great utility, especially against robotics. She even works great on a synergy team, but she doesn't need to rely on one. Plus, being poison immune is just cherry on the top. So, the next class let's talk about the class that has a class advantage over Cosmic, and that is Mystic. This is one of the hardest classes to judge because it is so jam-packed with awesome champs. Mystic has always been the top of the top, but the gap has been shrinking with the nerf to Mystic Dispersion and also the release of other OP champs in other classes like Medusa in Cosmic. So even the worst champ in this class is still a good champ. Also with Mystic, there have been so many varying opinions on these champs, it's unreal. Some think Loki is the worst. I don't think that. And others think he is the best. I don't think he's the best either, but nobody, however, thinks that Kamala Khan is the best Cosmic or A-Bomb is the best in Science. So I am taking Unstoppable Colossus out of this list because if you have him, it's your own damn fault since you can only get him with loyalty. Now, in my opinion, I think that Iron Fist is the worst Mystic. Now, I know some of you are gonna be like, what? No, but look, most people hate Loki or Jane Foster, but both champs have better uses, in my opinion, than Iron Fist. And one of the reasons I am so down on Iron Fist is he was so much better before 12.0. He took a huge hit with diminishing returns. Before 12.0, People used to run through content and even do Legends run with a 455 Iron Fist. Not so much nowadays. Kabam did a great thing, don't get me wrong, with diminishing returns because it allowed them to combine a lot of buffs and create a new combination of champs and abilities without making, a single champ OP. But unfortunately, Iron Fist took a hit to his main ability of armor breaking and causing a ton of damage. So, he's still a good champ, but he needs something to make him on par with other mystics. Kabam did add a nullify with his heavy, but it only applies to, fury, cruelty, and precision. I think if it could nullify any other buff, then Iron Fist would be a lot more useful. Now, who is the best mystic? In my opinion, and I'm sure most of you are gonna agree, it's Magic. Think about all that she can do. She's got power control. She's a great attacker. She doesn't necessarily have to be duped to be good, which, bonus. It helps, but unnecessary. And also, that regen she gets with her limbo is on point. And plus, I think she actually was the first champ that Kabam overhauled. And she was decent before the buff, but now, in my opinion, she has risen to the top of the top in Mystic. All right, so we have talked about Cosmic and Mystic, and now we are moving on to the Science class. And like Cosmic, this was another poorly represented class for a long time. People used to get Science Awakening gems and would rage quit over this class because it was so bad. For a long time, Cap World War II, he ruled the Science class. And then Kabam started introducing new champs and buffing the old classics like Hulk and his counterpart, Red Hulk. But, oh Kabam, you forgot another Hulk. You forgot about She-Hulk. And she is my worst pick for the Science class. I know she has a stun on her specials, and I know she has poison immunity, but that's all she really has. Her damage output is bad, and she puts a debuff on the opponent that I have absolutely no idea what it does, and it is nowhere in her description. Kabam, what is this? What does it do? We would like to know. Not to mention, she is so clunky to use, and her animations I don't like. But that is just my humble opinion. So, who is the best? Well, I gotta say, this one was really tough. I went back and forth between Cap Infinity War and Void. Cap Infinity War, he does so much damage, but relies on gaining a special 2 and doing heavies, parries, then launching it and hoping it crits. He does have a utility, but not much as Void. Void, however, he has good health, tons of utility. However, he needs a high sig level, and for the user to run masteries, they need to have them set up pretty much for Void, and a lot of people don't have those masteries set up on a regular basis. Now, this is my opinion, and this is my opinion only. Personally, I would rank up Cap Infinity War over Void because that would benefit me more. However, I think Void is the better champion in Science. I think he is the best in Science. Of course, you can't mention the best Science champ without mentioning Quake, and she is up there, don't get me wrong. But she suffers greatly on stun immune, and if you have to be really good at Quake style to get the most out of her, and that is why she is not in the top. All right, so now let's move on to skill. And skill, let's face it, it's always been a decent class. There were no glaring, horrible champs. There are plenty of mid-range champs, mid-tier, whatever, but all of them have some purpose. Even that hipster homeless guy, Karnak. But in my opinion, the worst is Netflix Daredevil. His armor breaks are weak, and his evade is random and not very reliable. His stats are low, and his special 2 doesn't do as much damage as OG Daredevil's. That's what it seems to me. He's just another redundant champ that doesn't really do anything better than his counterpart. So how could they fix him? Well, Kabam, I think if you could raise his crit rate and give him like a true strike ability where he couldn't be evaded, kind of like OG Daredevil in reverse, then he would be a champ that is not maybe god tier, but at least would be useful. Okay, now, this is where I know I'm gonna strike some controversy, at least a little bit. Because the best champ, in my opinion, is Blade. He, to me, is the best skill champ. I tried to argue this to myself with every other god tier skill champ like Gwenpool and Killmonger. But to me, Blade, he's just got too much going on for him with his high damage, the power gain he gets, his bleeds, regen, and oh, can we not forget about his synergies? Those are pretty cool. So even if you take away any one of those components, he is still a great champ. Unlike Gwenpool, who can fall very short against bleed immune champs, and you're pretty much stuck. So overall for me, Blade is the best in skill, hands down, great utility. All right, so now the mutant class. And this class is actually chock full of both really good and really bad champs. For the worst, many would argue over Deadpool X-Force, but I know some people are gonna argue with me about this, but I don't think he's the worst. He can at least be kind of okay in defense, and his damage isn't too bad. When awakened, he does have that constant bleed. So, not the worst in my opinion. And speaking of my opinion, the worst champ is another redundant champ, and that is Magneto Marvel Now. That's right, White Magneto. He is a carbon copy of Red Mags, but worse. Except for the fact that his ability reduction is 60% and Red Mags is only 40%, he's still the lesser of the Magnetos and really needs a rework. I mean, think about it. Magneto is another OG character that has been in the game forever and one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel universe, and he totally gets gimped in this game. It's unreal. I think if Kabam could make him better by, maybe redoing his animations to set him apart from Red Magnetos, and I think that would be a big help. And also, if you could make his magnetism work in a unique way, something different from Red Mags, it would be better. So maybe instead of his ability reduction, Kabam could give him some type of inverse controls, almost like Emma Frost when faced against metal characters. That way, it would be like how he is. He would have some control over metal characters. I think that would be a big help and make him maybe a lot more fun to play and not such a drag. Okay, so this is where things get tough. Who is the best in Mutant? I mean, this would have been easier just 6 months ago, but Kabam has released so many OP mutants lately that this decision really has no clear-cut answer. There is no clear-cut winner. I mean, I've got my opinion and you've got your opinions. There are so many good mutants lately. Think about it. We've got Omega Red, Emma Frost, and Domino. They've all just been released. And then you've got, the OG classics like Iceman and X-23. So, in my opinion, who's the best? Well, it actually came down to Iceman and Domino for me. I had to decide who would I rank 5. I mean, you've got Iceman, who, he's basically triple immune. And that ice armor, I mean, you can take a special 3 like a champ with that ice armor up. But the problem with Iceman is his damage is just not there. And so for me, I went with Domino. Now, this is why I think Domino is the best mutant in the game. Her damage is great. She's got a ton of utility, and she can be used in so many different scenarios. She can be a good attacker in war. She can be a good defender in war. She can be used for questing, and she can be even used for fights in Labyrinth of Legend. Domino, I mean, think about all of her abilities she's got. She can evade. She has the critical failure, and not all of her attacks are physical. She can stun, and plus, I think she'll last longer in the game than Iceman. And that, to me, is why Domino is above Iceman. Okay. So now we are on the last class, and that is Tech. And this is an interesting class, and it was honestly kind of a tough class because it's full of utility. There are a ton of underrated champs in this class, such as Civil Warrior. I know some of you might disagree right there, but whatever. So who is the worst? I think this is pretty clear cut here. I think that Iron Patriot, without a doubt in my mind, is the worst. He is the worst to me, potentially even in the game, maybe. He wins over Hulkbuster because this is the main thing. His signature ability, the burnout. I never understood why Kabam even made this character. He has nothing over his counterparts Iron Man and Superior Iron Man, and even when he regens, he suffers a penalty after it's done. What is the point of that then? So, how do I think Kabam can fix this champ? Well, this is what I think they need to do. Kabam, you need to go into your game files and just click delete. That's it. He just needs a total rework, and he needs to separate himself from the rest of the Iron Man family. So, now the tough one. Who is the best? So I am probably going to ruffle some feathers with this one. I'm sure you guys are already knowing who it's going to be between. But once again, I decided who I would take to rank 5, and it came down to Sparky and Ghost. Now, Ghost is a new character that takes a lot of practice and skill to master. Sparky, he's pretty simple to use, and he does great damage and has good utility with his power drain, snare, taunt, evade, and shock. But in the end, I'm choosing Ghost. Her damage is unreal when played correctly, just like Sparky, and with her phasing, she is immune to so many debuffs and can take a special 3, which may be a bug, like a champ. I mean, she mitigates damage and dishes out damage so well, there's no reason for her not to be number 1 in my book. So, those are my picks for the best and the worst of each class in the game. Please let me know in the comments below, who would you pick for the worst, or who would you pick for the best? Let me know if you agree with me. I always love hearing you guys' opinion on the characters in the game. And let me know if you disagree. I don't care. I think it's nice. So remember, these are all just my opinion. So yeah, if you guys liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe and to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks, guys.